Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today, I'm going to be doing the first ever episode of Robert's Thoughts. And today's episode is going to be on the upcoming Spider-Man 3 movie, which is set to come out in December of 2021. The reason I will be talking about this today is because of all of the accusations and the speculations and also the confirmations that are coming out in the news in the past few days, past few weeks, and even this morning. This morning there's a lot of speculation happening, and I want to talk about it. Mainly because A, I think it's true, but B, I want to make sure you're educated on how to know if the sources are correct, and also I want to talk about Spider-Man in general, because anybody who knows me knows that Spider-Man is my favorite Marvel superhero, and I love Marvel, so I'm really excited to talk about Spider-Man. I didn't think this would be my first Spider-Man review / talk show thing, but it is. This will hopefully be relatively short. And I'm not going to edit it or add any pictures or anything because I really want it to be a conversation between you and me, and I want to give you all of my thoughts on the upcoming Spider-Man 3 movie. So, the big thing happened about a week ago, I believe, maybe 2 weeks ago, when Jamie Foxx accidentally leaked that he would be coming back to the MCU. And this leak was really interesting because it happened on Instagram, and what happened was Jamie Foxx posted a picture of a kind of a purplish Electro in the sky with the 3 Spider-Men looking up at him. And then the caption was, "I'm not going to be blue this time." And then he took it down like 3 hours later, because I'm assuming because Marvel told him that he had to. So this, while it didn't necessarily confirm the Spider-Verse, it did confirm Electro for Spider-Man 3, which we know that it is going to be the same Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And we know this because he said, "This time I won't be blue." So I think he is referring to the fact that it is going to be Electro. It was pretty obvious that it was going to be Electro. I don't think he's going to be regular skin toned. I think he's going to be purple. But I think he'll have a suit this time. And just based on that alone, here's my thought process on what the movie's going to be like. It'll be about Electro because he can go into the electricity, and I'm betting he finds a way to open the Spider-Verse, and that's how he can get into other areas of other dimensions, pretty much, other Spider-Verse. And so let's talk about the Spider-Verse real quick. So for those of you who are unaware of the Spider-Verse, essentially it is the idea that there are multiple dimensions. It's technically a multiverse, what they call it, but they focus a lot on it in Spider-Man comics and Spider-Man movies and such. So, people have been waiting for a Spider-Man multiverse movie for so long, and I think it was 2017 we finally got one. That movie was fantastic. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. I will do a review on that at some point in the future. Probably not until like next year, though, because I'm pretty booked. But after that movie came out, everyone's like, "Oh, where's the live-action one?" And so I think that it is possible that Marvel will be delivering on that very soon. I think that Spider-Man 3 will include at least a minimal version of what is going to be the multiverse. And the reason I believe that is because Doctor Strange was confirmed for Spider-Man 3. And we know that Doctor Strange comes out after Spider-Man 3, and it is called Into the Multiverse. So, no, Multiverse of Madness is what it's called. And so, we know that it's going to happen. And I think it'll be introduced here in Spider-Man 3. Okay. With all that being said, those are the only things that are 100% confirmed. Only that Electro will be there, and that Jamie Foxx is playing him, and Doctor Strange will be there. That's the only thing that is technically confirmed. For all we know, it's just Doctor Strange and Spider-Man teaming up against Electro. A different form of Electro. That being said, that sounds kind of lame, especially considering no one liked the Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 for many reasons, mainly because it was awful. We deserve better from one of Spider-Man's main villains, and hopefully they're able to fix that when we get into Spider-Man 3 here. So now there is the thing that came out, I think, late last night, early this morning, a leak that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are already signed on to play Peter Parker in the different multiverse dimensions. This is not confirmed by Disney or Fox. there's a lot of people that are saying that it's confirmed by Disney or Fox, but they do not list their sources specifically, and there's nothing official as of right now from when I'm shooting this video, which is about 20 minutes before I'm uploading it probably. There's nothing official. So technically anything I talk about from now on is just purely theoretical and just my thoughts on it. Okay? I want to make sure you knew that. I will not be citing sources because none of this came from a source, because I know that it is not officially confirmed at this moment in time. I do think we'll see a confirmation soon, but that's just my thought. So, Tobey Maguire, who played Spider-Man Peter Parker in the first trilogy that came out in the early 2000s. In the 2010s, we had the Andrew Garfield, and the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy. Well, it's supposed to be a trilogy, there's only two of them. And we have Tom Holland, of course, who is playing Spider-Man in the later trilogy that just came out recently. So, Tobey Maguire, I fully believe, would sign a contract to come back in, and I think they would ask him. I think that he played a really, really, really good Peter Parker. I just don't think he was a very good Spider-Man. That being said, it'll be interesting to see Spider-Man in a later time period, if it is a later time period. We don't know if they will go back in time to be in the older Spider-Man movies, or if they are going to come into our time period, which would be interesting because that's what they did in Into the Spider-Verse. And so I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that, or if they do anything with that. But let's just pretend that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are signed on, which I think is possible. I do 100% think it is possible that they are signed on and confirmed for Spider-Man 3. It is not officially confirmed, though, by Disney or Fox. And it's really almost hard to believe that Andrew Garfield would get another contract, just because they did fire him from playing Spider-Man in The Amazing Spider-Man 3 because of some alleged... I didn't really look into it very much because it was very sad at the time. Alleged Twitter posts that were seemingly bad towards Sony and its production studio. So they fired Andrew Garfield, therefore we did not get to see a third Amazing Spider-Man film, which might be for the best. That being said, technically speaking, Disney could have hired him. It doesn't have to be Fox anymore now that Disney owns Fox. So I think it is conceivable that they will allow Andrew Garfield to play the titular role once more. So, another thing that is slightly suspicious. Tom Holland hasn't said a word. Which, if any of you know Tom Holland, is unbelievable. This could be for two reasons. One, Benedict Cumberbatch is with him all the time, and now that we are in an age where we are all secluded, he doesn't have any opportunities to release it. Or, two, they haven't even told him yet, which I think is the more likely scenario. I think it is totally conceivable that they have not told Tom Holland yet, which is why they're not going to confirm it until they tell Tom Holland. They'll probably tell Tom Holland like 2 minutes before they tell us, but I think we'll know relatively soon because they did just start shooting this week. Last week. They just started shooting last week in New York, and I believe they're supposed to go to Atlanta to shoot more of it this week. I don't think it's a big shoot. I think it's mainly for the B-roll, but I don't know. We'll find out. So that's my thoughts on just that. I want to talk about villains too, because villains are always a huge part of Spider-Man movie in particular. I mean, obviously it's important for a superhero movie in general, but Spider-Man villains are very, very popular, and people get very pissed off when they do them wrong, which they seem to constantly do. Until recently, I think that their newer adaptations of their villains have been pretty good. I'm going to go down the line from when they are released, and if I think that they will be in the next movie. Because there are rumors about, and confirmations, again, they're not actual confirmed sources. They're just people that say that they are confirmed, but have not listed sources, so we cannot 100% agree that they are 100% confirmed. Green Goblin. This is Green Goblin number 1. There are 3 of them. Green Goblin number 1, who is played by Willem Dafoe, of course, is dead. Not Willem Dafoe yet, but Green Goblin died at the end of Spider-Man 1 because he was trying to kill Spider-Man and accidentally killed himself with a glider. There are no spoilers here because you should have seen all this by now. If you haven't, that's ridiculous. If you're watching this, I'm assuming you've already seen all the movies. So, it is possible that we'll see Willem Dafoe again. I think Willem Dafoe would sign up for it. That being said, he's dead, so if he does come back, any of these dead people, if they come back, it is because of a time jump. So, if we ever see that, Green Goblin or Doctor Octopus or or the first Venom, if any of them are confirmed at any point, we know that there will be a time jump. We can be pretty confident that there's a time jump. I don't think there's going to be a time jump, but if there was, we'll know when they get confirmed. I don't think we'll see Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin, just because I don't think there'll be a time jump. Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2, who was played by Alfred Molina, also dead, died in the second movie in an explosion after Spider-Man was like, listen, you're going to die anyway, just like, you don't have to kill everybody. And so I don't think we'll see Dr. Octopus. I don't think we'll see Doc Ock, period, in these newer films, just because I think that they did a pretty great job in the second film of the original trilogy with Doc Ock, and I think that they're going to focus on some of the other villains, because we can't just keep reusing villains, because they seem to do that quite often. So I don't think we'll see Dr. Octopus. Venom 1 from Spider-Man 3, played by Topher Grace, also dead. He died because they extracted the Venom off of him, and then Peter Parker threw a bomb in there to kill the Venom, and then Eddie Brock ran into it because he's like, I'd rather die with my Venom than not have my Venom. And so, he's dead. I don't think we'll see that Venom, particularly because people really did not like the adaptation of that particular villain, which, agreed. So I do not think we will see that Venom ever again. Thank God. Sandman, played by Thomas Harden Church. I actually really liked the Sandman from Spider-Man 3. I did not hate him at all. I actually thought he was pretty cool. And he is alive at the end of the third film, so I think it's possible we'll see him. That being said, I don't think they will. I think if they do Sandman, I think they'll do a different Sandman. I don't think they're going to bring this one back, which is unfortunate because I'd like to see the Sandman. But I really strongly have my doubts. But I think if they're going to bring any villain back from the first Spider-Man trilogy, I think it would be Sandman. Mainly because he's the only one that's left alive. And lastly, from the first Spider-Man trilogy, from Spider-Man 3, is the Green Goblin number 2, who is played by James Franco, who is the son of Willem Dafoe's character. So, he's also dead. He dies at the end of Spider-Man 3 amongst his best friends. I don't think we'll see that, mainly because he's dead. But it would be interesting. I liked Willem Dafoe's better, so I think if we saw any of them, I think we would see that one. Alright, on to the second trilogy, or what was supposed to be a trilogy. With The Amazing Spider-Man 1, we saw the Lizard, played by Rhys Ifans, and the Lizard died, of course. I have my very strong doubts we'll ever see the Lizard again. Particularly that one. I don't think we'll see Dr. Kirk Connors again. Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This is the only one that is 100% confirmed. This is absolutely happening. This is real. This is confirmed by the actor himself. This is confirmed. Electro will be there. And I'm pretty damn confident it's going to be the Amazing Spider-Man 2 version. I'm excited for that. That's really cool. I didn't like Electro in the Amazing Spider-Man 2, almost at all, actually. But I hope that they fix it, and I think it'd be cool if they tried to redeem themselves there, and I think they will. And from that same trilogy, we have 2 more characters. We have Green Goblin the Third. I think maybe he was labeled as Hobgoblin, I'm not sure, but he's still Harry Osborn, played by Dane DeHaan. And he's left alive at the end of the second movie. So it's possible we see him. I don't think we will, because I just don't think we will. Oscorp is rumored to be a big part of the third movie of the third trilogy. As true as I think that is, there is a little bit of a conspiracy going around saying that the building that was being remodeled, which was the Avengers Tower, it is the Avengers Tower that was sold, and it was being remodeled. I don't think it was being remodeled for Oscorp, though. I actually do think it was the Baxter building. I could be very wrong. I could be extremely wrong. And honestly, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that I think what they were doing was remodeling the building in Far From Home, and then waiting to see what they wanted to do with it. I don't think they actually had a plan for it. I think they were just waiting to see if they could, what they wanted to do later on. Basically setting up the building to either be the Oscorp or be the Baxter building from Fantastic Four. I think it would be the Fantastic Four because, it'll be really easy to integrate them if they're like, oh yeah, the Baxters move in here. Easy, they're in the MCU. It would be that easy, and I think they're going to do that, which I'm behind. But I don't think it's the Oscorp building. I think we will see Oscorp in some sense, but I don't think that it will be necessarily Dane DeHaan's version. I think if we see any villain from the second trilogy that isn't Electro, it would be Rhino, who we see at the end of the second Amazing Spider-Man movie, is about to fight Spider-Man, and then they just cut and roll credits, which pissed me off so much. Mom, if you're watching this, I hope you remember how mad I got when I watched this. You were there. I watched it. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You can't just end a movie like that. What the hell? I'm still mad about it. Rhino is played by Paul Giamatti. I love Paul Giamatti, and I think he would have been a cool Rhino. And I'm very sad that we didn't get to see it. Moving on. Venom the Second, which was his own movie, Venom, Tom Hardy's. People don't really like that. I think it'll be hard to make a good Venom anyway, in particular. I do think Tom Hardy's was better than the Spider-Man 3 version. But I don't think we'll see him in this, and here's why. We're waiting to see Morbius, and Morbius, I think, is coming out next October now. And that is confirmed to have Michael Keaton's Vulture in it. I don't think we will see Venom there. I think we might see Morbius, if Morbius is still coming out before Spider-Man 3. We might see Morbius, and we might see Vulture. But I don't think we'll see Venom 2, Venom the Second, and that is because they're going to want to save that. There's no way they're going to want to have all these awesome villains and then waste Venom on this film. Not that it's going to be a waste, but I've been waiting personally to see a Spider-Man Venom movie that was good and that was awesome. And I think that they can totally do it with Tom Holland. And I think we might see that go with Spider-Man 4. Also, at the end of Venom, the movie, he's more of a good guy than he is a bad guy. I mean, Venom's always going to be bad, but he's more of a good guy than he is a bad guy. Which is why I think it's unlikely that we're going to see him team up with all these bad villains in this particular film. The Vulture, Michael Keaton, I mean, that's all but confirmed. I mean, I think we'll absolutely see him there because of the end credit scene we saw in Homecoming, where he's in the jail. I think it's totally possible he gets out of jail, and we get to see the Vulture again. That would not surprise me at all. It also would not surprise me at all if we saw Scorpion, who was teased in the jail at the end of Homecoming because he had a scorpion tattooed on his neck. So we're pretty confident that he's a Scorpion, and I'm pretty confident that we will see the Scorpion. And last but not least, the last villain to be visibly seen in the Spider-Man movies, Mysterio, who is dead? Who knows at this point? Mysterio is always crazy. He could have totally faked his death, and no one would have known. So I think it's possible to see Jake Gyllenhaal again, and I'd love to. I loved his Mysterio. And I think it's possible to see that again, and I think it might even be possible that we see him kind of lead the charge here. Again, not confirmed, but I'd like to see it. Yep, multiple pages. We're almost done, though. I just wanted to talk about a couple unseen villains that we might see. Actually, only one I wanted to talk about. And that is Kraven the Hunter. People have been waiting for a Kraven the Hunter movie for so long because it was owned by Fox. So if it was owned by Fox, we're never going to see it. But now that it's owned by Disney, it is possible that we see a Kraven the Hunter. I don't want to see Kraven the Hunter in this movie. And here's why. We already have so many villains to play with that I don't think adding a new villain is going to be beneficial to the plot. This could be a 3-hour movie like Endgame. There's so much to dive into, And I don't think they're going to want the multiverse to be the entire thing for all the movies coming forward. I think it'll only be a Spider-Man 3 thing and a Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness thing. So I think that we will actually see Kraven the Hunter in Spider-Man 4. Maybe with Venom. That would be cool. I don't think he's going to be in Spider-Man 3. However, I could be wrong. It is just my thoughts. One quick thing that I thought about that I didn't hear on the news or anything, I didn't read about. One thing that I was thinking about while I was reading some stuff was Ben Parker. If we see a time jump, we could see all of the Aunt Mays come together with their Ben Parkers again. And that would make me cry so much. I will be a very happy boy if I do that. And so if we see a time jump, I mean, if that's a waste of good material if they decide not to reunite them and then take them away again. That would be so dramatic and so cool and so sad. And I think it's possible that we see that. I'm not 100% sure. It's not at all confirmed. It has not even been talked about as far as I'm aware. It's just a thought that I had. So keep that in mind. And if I'm right, that'd be really cool. One big thing about the Spider-Verse movie is that we don't know if this is going to be... Because I'm pretty confident that they're all signed on right now. I think they were signed on for a while. This is not confirmed. Okay, it's not confirmed. It's just my thoughts. But we don't know if it is going to be a whole plot thing where it's like, whoa, they're all here now. Or if it's just going to be a big ending battle like an Endgame where we see all the Spider-Men come together and fight all these bad guys. Or it could even just be an end credit scene and then it teases the fourth film, which would be ridiculous, but it's possible. I guess we won't know until it happens there. I wanted to talk real quickly about some possible titles that I read about, and what I like, what I don't like, what I think we'll see, what I don't think we'll see. So I'm going to start right off with what I thought was going to be the name, and that was going to be Homesick. We know it'll have home in the title because we have Homecoming and Far From Home. There's no way that home isn't in the title. So, there's Homesick, which I think would be a cool one because, I think that, at this point we know that Spider-Man, his identity is revealed to the public, and he could be feeling homesick from just being, his own person, and now he's, a villain, technically, according to the public. So that's possible. Welcome Back Home is interesting, because we could see the other Spider-Men come into the Spider-Verse, and then, everyone comes home, and everyone's there, just like Spider-Man in Homecoming. Part of that had to do with the fact that they were bringing Spider-Man back to the MCU and bringing him home. One that I saw this morning that kind of blew my mind and would be really cool is Spider-Man No Place Like Home. How cool of a title would that be? I think that is probably the coolest title that they can have. That being said, I don't necessarily think it is going to be the one, but I think it'd be really cool, and I hope that that is true. There's Spider-Man Home Run, which I don't get why they would call it that. There's no baseball. There's Home Sweet Home, which is possible. But I think we'll see that as a title in the future. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the title for Spider-Man 3. There's Homeward Bound, Homeless, On the Home Stretch. I don't think it'll be any of those either. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see for a title release. We should get a title release. Probably, my guess is that they're going to release the title for Spider-Man around Christmas time. Because the movie comes out a year from, I think it's December 20th. So, I think it's December 20th. Maybe it's December 15th. It's sometime in December in 2021. So, I think that we will see a title reveal by the end of the year. And I'm very excited. And I think we'll get some cast reveals as well. But I can't be positive about it because it is not confirmed. Okay, those are all my thoughts. I feel better now. I want to know what you think. Okay, drop it in the comments below. Tell me what you think Spider-Man 3 is going to be like. Tell me what you think the title is going to be. Tell me what you think I thought was correct or not correct. Join the Facebook group. Start a thread, okay? Just post on there. Be like, all right, what do you guys think about Spider-Man? And then we'll talk about it, okay? We can talk about it for hours. I'm available. We can talk about it on YouTube. Drop it in the comments below. And always remember to check your sources, okay? Because the second somebody sees something, it goes crazy. The second... If I post something on YouTube and I said, confirmed, they're going to be there, and I had no sources, people are going to believe me because they just assume that everything on the media is correct. It's not. Check your sources. Make sure you people have sources. That is why I have told you that everything that I said in this video, aside from the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch is confirmed and Jamie Foxx is confirmed, because those are confirmed by the actors and Disney, everything else is speculation. So remember to check your sources. Let's start a conversation. And thank you for watching the first ever Robert's Thoughts.